In the quiet village of Imara, nestled between rolling hills and lush fields, lived a young and charismatic teacher named Mr. Tunda. He had come from the city of Ilorin, a place known for its bustling streets and bright lights. His arrival in Imara was like a breath of fresh air, a promise of change and progress for the children, especially the girls who had long been denied the chance to truly learn. The village elders, deeply concerned about the rising number of teenage pregnancies that were cutting young lives short, eagerly awaited Mr. Tunda's arrival. They hoped that he would be the key to protecting their daughters from the fate of early motherhood, a fate that often stole their future and tied them to men they barely knew. When Mr. Tunde finally arrived, the villagers turned out in full force to greet him. Clad in their best clothes, the elders stood by the ancient baobab tree, the center of their village, to hear him speak. Elder Olamide, the village's wisest matriarch, stepped forward and addressed him with a mixture of respect and hope. "Mr. Tunde," she said, her voice trembling with the weight of the community's expectations, "our daughters need you. They are like birds trapped in a cage, unable to fly. We trust that you will free them." Mr. Tunde smiled warmly, his eyes gleaming with sincerity. "I am here to guide them," he assured the crowd, "to help them see the value of education, to teach them how to protect themselves, and to ensure that they do not fall into the traps of early pregnancy that take away their dreams." The villagers exhaled in relief. Their fears seemed to vanish with Mr. Tunde's words. For the first time, they felt their daughters had a chance at a future beyond the confines of early marriage and motherhood. Little did they know, however, that Mr. Tunde's intentions were not as noble as they appeared. As the days passed, Mr. Tunde began to win the trust of the girls in the village. His teaching methods were unlike any they had experienced before, gentle, understanding, and captivating. The girls sat in rapt attention as he spoke of life, love, and protection, his words weaving a spell of trust that made them believe in his every word. One afternoon, after a lesson about the importance of using protection to avoid pregnancy, Mr. Tunde held up a small, shiny packet for all to see. "This is your shield," he explained, "a way to protect yourselves from the consequences of carelessness. It's your right to stay safe." The girls listened intently, absorbing every word, their curiosity piqued. But beneath the surface of his kind demeanor, something far darker was at play. Mr. Tunde began to manipulate the trust he had built with them. Small touches here, subtle compliments there. His actions seemed innocent at first, but they quickly escalated into something much more sinister. As the weeks passed, the girls found themselves pulled into a web of confusion. Their feelings for Mr. Tunde, once those of admiration and trust, began to blur. They didn't understand why their hearts fluttered when he spoke to them, or why they felt such a strong attachment to him. All they knew was that he was their teacher, the one who promised to help them, to teach them how to protect themselves. But what he had been teaching them all along was manipulation, not protection. One day, after a particularly intimate lesson on the importance of physical safety, Mr. Tunde smiled at a young girl named Dara, one of the brightest students. "Dara," he said softly, "you've been a great student, but true learning comes from practice. Come with me, and I'll show you how to truly understand the lesson." His voice was soothing, but there was a cold undertone she didn't pick up. Dara hesitated, but trusting him, followed him to a small room at the back of the school. Inside, the atmosphere shifted. The door closed behind them, and his tone softened, more persuasive now. "Don't be afraid," he told her, his hands gentle as he guided her. "This is all part of the lesson. You need to understand what it means to protect yourself." What followed was not a lesson, it was a betrayal. Dara, confused and uncertain, did as he instructed, believing that this was part of her education. She left the room, her face pale, her mind whirling with emotions she couldn't process. The other girls noticed, but none of them said anything. They had been told to keep silent, that this was just part of the learning. And so it continued, one girl after another, each slipping into Mr. Tunder's private lessons, each leaving with her innocence shattered, all believing they were the only ones. But one person, a boy named Jide, was watching. Known for his sharp mind and keen observation, Jide had seen the pattern, the girls leaving the room, their faces blank, their eyes clouded with confusion. Something was wrong. Jide didn't speak immediately. He observed quietly as the pieces fell into place. One evening, after Mr. Tunder had finished his lessons for the day, Jide blocked his path. "Mr. Tunder," Jide said with a sly grin, "you've been busy, haven't you?" Mr. Tunder froze, a chill running through him. "What do you mean?" he asked, his voice suddenly sharp. Jide chuckled. "Oh, nothing much. I just noticed you've been giving very interesting lessons. Lessons that I think the villagers should know about." Mr. Tunder's face turned pale. "You don't know what you're talking about," he snapped, trying to walk away, but Jide stepped in front of him, blocking his path. Jide smiled, folding his arms. "Don't be so quick to walk away, Mr. Tund. You see, I'm a man of the village. I know how to keep secrets for a price." Mr. Tunder's heart raced. He knew Jide's reputation. If this boy spoke, everything he had worked for would come crumbling down. "What do you want?" he asked, his voice low and resigned. Jide leaned in, a devilish smile curling on his lips. "It's simple," he said. "When you're done with the girls, send them my way. I'll take care of them. A fair exchange, don't you think?" Mr. Tunder's blood ran cold. He had no choice but to agree. The twisted arrangement had begun, and the village was none the wiser. But secrets, no matter how well kept, always find their way into the light. It was only a matter of time before the truth came crashing down. One evening, after months of silence, a girl named Zainab could no longer ignore the changes in her body. Her stomach churned with nausea, and she grew weak by the day. She was terrified to tell anyone, but her friends, who had begun to notice the same signs, finally opened up to her. "Zainab, are you okay?" one asked. With tears in her eyes, Zainab whispered, "I don't feel well. Ever since the private lessons with Mr. Tunder." The truth spread like wildfire among the girls. One by one, they shared their stories of betrayal, of manipulation, of the terrible things they had been forced to endure in silence. Now, with the weight of the truth on their shoulders, the girls knew they had to act. But would anyone believe them? Would the village take their side, or would Mr. Tunde's charm and influence keep them silent forever? Only time would tell. But the truth, like the river flowing through Imara, could never be stopped. It was only a matter of when it would break free and wash away the lies.